Hello, this is Daily Car News with Bijan. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on everything car every single day at 6 p.m. Pacific. Just go ahead, smash that subscribe button for me so you stay up to date. Did you walk out to your Hyundai this morning to see it was burned to the ground? Well, you're not the only one. Hyundai released a recall recently that affected over 100,000 vehicles. Now, what is going on and who is affected? So let's talk about who's affected. Now, this is a international recall. Now, this is not just the US, this is not just the overseas markets. The cars that are affected are the Ionic, the Kona, and the Genesis brand. So the G70 and G80 can be affected by this recall. Now, what is going on? Essentially, what's happening is the ABS unit is malfunctioning. Now, they're saying they think it's related to the hybrid and the electric motors in some of their models. Now, what would happen with this malfunction is there's too much current, it burns the car down because it'll burn the wiring, and it can happen at any point. Hyundai is saying that it's only affected 3 cars so far. Hopefully all of those people are perfectly okay and safe and nobody was injured because of this recall. Now, the NHTSA is basically a department to keep all of us safe on the road. Now, what do they have to say about it? Now, they are saying until May, when Hyundai is prepared to begin the recalls, to just not park your car near or in any buildings. Cool. So let me just park my car in the middle of the street a mile down from my house. Now, the most ridiculous part of this story to me is how Hyundai is going to fix it. They're going to change a fuse. That's it. So all of this QC and all of this R&D and all of these checks and things to make sure everything's working perfectly fine and it's up to code. Yeah, they messed up with the fuse. I'm curious to see how badly they messed up. Now, is this fuse like a 50 amp fuse and they're gonna turn it down to a 10 amp fuse? Or was it a 10 amp fuse and they're bringing it down to like 7.5? How big is that difference? At this moment, we have no idea, and I'm sure Hyundai is going to try to avoid and not post it up. But us in the car community, I'm sure will be curious. People will post it up because you can literally just look at the fuse box and see what the number is for ABS, and then go to the dealer, get the recall done, come back from the dealer, and then look and see what the number is now. I think there's going to be so much confusion from the people who actually own these cars. They're going to get a letter in the mail saying something along the lines of, hey, your vehicle has been affected, possible fire damage, we need you to immediately come into a dealership and we will service your vehicle. Now, they're going to frantically rush through the door and be like, hey, like, I got this letter, they said that my car could light on fire, I'm here for the recall. And then the technician will tell them, oh, no problem, like, go ahead, have a drink of water, like, we'll take care of the recall, we'll help explain it to you. They're going to go sit down, have a drink of water, the tech's going to come back and be like, all right, the recall's done, yeah, we just changed the fuse, have a good day. What do you mean? So you changed the fuse, and that's going to go from my car being at very high risk of burning to the ground, and now because of that fuse change, there's no risk of it burning to the ground. That's going to confuse a lot of people. Now, if anybody has messed with wiring on motorcycles or cars, you know how important amperage is. I played around with amperage on one of my motorcycles, and it kicked me in the butt, and I learned my lesson. I was running headlights and some extra wiring for turn signals and LED this, LED that, and I was having draw issues. So I was like, oh, if I just turn up the fuse from a 7.5 to a 10, I'll be fine. It immediately drained my battery, and I was noticing that the wires that I was touching were very, very hot. And then I learned my lesson. I could have burned that bike down to the ground, and I was riding it, and it's a crotch rocket, and that would have been a bad combo. Don't mess with your fuses. Go to the dealership. They will fix it. It can make a world of difference. Now, I'm glad to see Hyundai is on top of this, and the NHTSA is on top of this as well. They are saying the risk is low. No cars have been affected in the United States. It has only been international, but that doesn't really help any of these Hyundai owners sleep better at night. Now, we are going to see in May, because that is when Hyundai will begin servicing the recall and servicing these cars, how efficient their fix for this recall will be. Hopefully, it will completely kill it off. There will be no fires. Now, this is not a new thing for Hyundai. This recall is affecting over 100,000 vehicles, and over the last few years, Hyundai has had quite a few recalls for possible or confirmed fires. Now, I hope that they get all of these little issues fixed. I have someone in the family that has a Hyundai. I'm definitely going to be calling them to make sure that they go in and check their mail and make sure that they're not affected by this recall, but they make pretty nice cars. Now, my hope is that Hyundai will stay on top of this and they will fix it completely and it will just go away. That's going to be it for today's Daily Car News. I'll see you guys on the next one.